We talk about living this life on your terms, fulfilling your business dreams, moving abroad, founding your own companies, and the daily struggle this brings with it. But also why it's all worth it, and why this life is going to be your dream life. Welcome to Maria Unleashed. Enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome everyone to my very first podcast. I am Maria, I am your host, and I am very excited to get this started. So I basically wanted to start this online platform where I can just talk and share my experience, because I feel that more and more people these days, are waking up and realizing I don't want to say they've been lied to, but it definitely feels like it. And, they realize, hey, I am, in control of my own life. Why am I actually doing what I'm doing? And it's literally they are waking up, but now they find themselves in this situation where they don't know how to do how and what to do differently. And maybe my stories can give you a little bit of hope. Maybe they will entertain you a little bit, because definitely it's been it's been a hell of a ride, and it's been funny, and it's been sad, and it's been frustrating, and it's been the best I've ever done. It's like everything in between. I have lived every emotion in the past 15 years. And just looking back, I'm just so glad that I did it. Everyone else wanted to hold me back, and everyone else, was so in their zone and so not questioning the status quo. But even as a teenager, when I looked at things, I, saw, apparently it just felt like I saw a complete different story to the rest of everyone. So when I looked at the things, how, they've been, so if I looked at Germany, so I am from Germany, I'm born and raised there. And when I looked at it, the entire, how you should behave and how your life is supposed to be, and the entire system that's man-made and made up, I'm like, well, but that's not really maybe there was a time in, in the past where that made sense, after the war, and maybe that was the best you can do. But right now it's a different time. And even back then, I saw this is totally not going anywhere. This is gonna explode at some point, and I don't want to be here when that happens, and also I don't want to wait and sit it out so long. I don't know how long I have on this planet, and I'm just so driven and so motivated, and I just want to live. I want to go out there and live. I want to learn. I was hungry. I just wanted to experience and learn and see everything, and I did. And again, it was not easy, because everyone literally from my family was trying to hold me back, because for them it was so unthinkable to just, after school not do the typical whatever people do. And then I come and say, oh no, I'm going to go to London and just learn English for now, because what we had in school, I was in a public school, just very normal, very basic. And what we learned there, literally, I can't remember half the shit. It was so unnecessary, so ridiculous. And I always went, after school, I had a lot of after school jobs basically going on to save up for these trips, because I knew I'm going to leave as soon as I can, my life will start at that day. And so I was always much happier to go to work, and even if I had the longest days, starting, I don't know, at 6 or what in the morning, and then you go to school. So the school started quite early, I would say, compared to other countries I've visited and lived in now. So it's pretty early. Everything starts just in general a bit earlier. And then after school at 4 or 5, I then go to my job, and I go and work there and make some money. And funny enough that I was, much rather go there and just really learn. But what I did, I was waitressing a lot and all types of stuff, babysitting, but also sometimes in summer vacation I would go and work in a shop, and clear the shelves or stock the shelves and do the kind of stuff you do as a student. And so when I was waitressing, very often it was for a football club, and I was then very soon asked to work in those private rooms that people rent, or that the sponsors have, or what, I can't really remember, but were these private rooms for 10-20 people. And I just realized that I'm learning so much more here watching these men, because it was usually just men in these rooms. Like sometimes maybe a wife, but she then would be so bored that she leaves as well. So we were just like me, my team, and then all the men watching football. Just a quick update. I just launched 2 new online workshops: my holistic skincare masterclass and my expert class. I will share my profound knowledge, my ready-to-buy shopping list, my suppliers list, and so much more with you. If you are ready for the last skincare moisturizer you will ever need, tailored to you and to your ever-changing needs, this online workshop will liberate you from the cycle of the beauty industry. Head over to greenplanetcosmetics.com/workshops. I will link everything below, and if this resonates with you, you can find all the details on my website. And now, back to the episode. And I just love to watch them do business, because what they did is they would always bring their associates with them and just have a good day, and I was like, that's so fascinating to watch men do business, really. Like, I still remember that, and I was 16 back then, and I'm like, I'm so glad. And I really always rather went there, even though it's a long day. And then like, again, even during week days, I would sometimes, like, usually that would be my weekend job, but sometimes when there was like an important game on, I would also rock up there on a, I don't know, Wednesday. And then, I wouldn't be back home until 2 a.m. in the morning, literally go to bed and wake up again at 6. So that's pretty, yeah, that was interesting, but I did it, and it was a lot of fun. And literally I got less than €5 an hour for that. But still, like, that was the first time I have really learned a lot there already, just in general, what's going on, and like, how are things, just the entire system, about like, what is it like to work there. And when you are new, you are the new little puppy, so you have nothing to say at all, and how cool it is to then slowly but surely work up the ladder, and just really be appreciated for your work as well, from your customers, but also from your boss and your colleagues as well. And then also, how do I deal with, I don't know, situations between colleagues? Like, let's say, not always, it's not always that everyone, likes each other and is like best friends. Sometimes, it can be a little bit like, I don't know, especially between the girls, it was a bit bitchy sometimes, and like, so unnecessary, really. But it's apparently what the girls do, I don't know. And I was back then already so annoyed from that. And I'm like, Jesus, I have no time for this. What do you want, woman? And yeah, interesting, because I was forced to really, like, you are at work, you are not somewhere hanging out with your friends. So, I learned very quickly to solve these type of issues gracefully. And also, I learned to talk, because you have to communicate, you have to ask what's going on, and you don't want to create a scene in front of the customers. But then some people did, and just watching that, like observing that from 5 meters away, I'm like, okay, that's what it looks like from the outside world. That's embarrassing. I don't want to be in that situation ever. Okay, so how can I make it better? How can I be better than this? How can I maybe even avoid that? How could I solve this situation a little bit more gracefully? So this is what I literally learned when I was 16. So it wasn't even my first job, so but just yeah, I just always knew I want to make some money, I want to get some experience. I also got to know a lot of different people, and especially in the football job. And, I also realized how handy it is to have all these contacts, and that also very great life lesson. And, well, I finally finished school, and I did it. And then, yeah, I did what I said I would. I left for London because I really wanted to learn English, and I knew that this is, I'm just in my 20s. I was after skills. Like, yes, of course, I wanted to make money. And yes, I love also, buying myself nice things, or like going, to foreign places. That's usually how I spend my money, funny enough. But what I really wanted to have and gain are skills, like a really great skill set. And I wanted to learn from the best. And I also wanted to create a network, just, because I had back then realized how cool it was to just, be able at such a young age already to just look at my phone book and like, oh no, I'm just gonna, oh, you're looking for a flat. Wait, like one of my customers, he's the owner of this and that company that happens to just rent out, half the flats here in the city. Let me give him a call because we get on really well. So, and it's stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I want a skill set that's just really nice and comes in handy and, a solid one. And I also want to have a network because that, again, is priceless. And all these things is just no one can take away from you. And that is what I really liked about that. And that's, where I really had to, I had these annoying discussions with friends, family, especially family, but also friends would ask me, why do you do that? Don't you want to make money and this and this and that? I'm like, yeah, of course I want to make money, but I can still make money in 5 years' time. Like right now I am free. I'm ready to go wherever I want. And I'm just going to use that opportunity and really get the most out of it. And again, now it's the other way around. Now these friends come. And again, they didn't mean no harm or anything, they were just like, hey, but why do you do that? They were just curious, like, hey, don't you want to make some more money? I'm like, yeah, of course I want to. And this is why I'm doing it. But I do want this very solid base of knowledge and contacts, and then it's basically like in the end, it becomes easier because, and this is indeed what happened. So what I intended would actually come true then, because people would then call me, I make maybe one call and then it's sorted out in like a few minutes later, or other people would just come approach me. So instead of me being, oh, please, can you give me a job? Oh, please, can I work here and there? No, I started from very scratch, like literally like nothing, scratch, like not even scratch. It's like, I don't know, whatever comes before scratch. That's where I started, because I actually had to learn a language first. So yeah, and that's why it was really important for me to go. I had my goal, I did it. I booked my flight. I was so excited, and so nervous as well. And my English was basically non-existent. I don't know, a handful of words, like the type of shit, yeah. But the shit we learned in school was ridiculous. I didn't go to a fancy school or anything. So the teachers there were just German people, and they studied somewhere, I don't know, because, or like everyone who went there, like most of it, like, because we were like from the east part of Germany there. And then these guys, just 10 years prior, they weren't even allowed to leave the country for 30 years. So they were not allowed to learn English, they could speak Russian maybe, but not English or French or what. So that was a whole new thing going on when I was growing up. And obviously these guys, they've probably never really lived anywhere else, but, it was just like literally, okay, we need to have this new school lesson that's English and that's France and I don't know what. So, okay, who wants to do that? You? Yeah? Okay, cool. Then you do it. So you go and do a course and then you come back and teach everyone else. And that's obviously not how it works. And wow. So yeah, basically after the, 13 years in school, still couldn't speak English. I couldn't even understand the British, because I had never heard mother tongue speak before. So, and songs, that was usually what I would practice with. So yeah, but that was still, I was growing up in the 90s, and again, where we lived, everything was still behind, which was quite nice. Now looking back, I'm actually happy we didn't grow up with like telephones and shit and computers, laptop, YouTube. So that came for us only in like the early 2000s. And like when I see kids nowadays, they literally like chatting in English, and it's like incredible. But we didn't have that. We didn't even have like an MP3 player. Was the new thing when I was a teenager. Really, it had 32 songs, I believe. So it's that kind of stuff. So I didn't know anyone who did that. I didn't know anyone I could ask, So, but what I knew is that I wanted to learn the language, because this would enable me to go out in the world and to just, have this second language most people understand these days. And also, it's just a new experience as well. I went over to London. And from there, so I was an au pair there, and yeah, that was interesting. And in the beginning, looking back, I'm like, oh my god, bless me. That was very interesting, very, very funny. Like, I was very nervous, it was this new thing. And again, I couldn't even understand them properly. I'm like, what? But then suddenly you are in this whole new world, living with a family, which is the best you can do, by the way, if you want to learn a language. That's how you learn it. And you learn fast, but your head is exploding. So I'm just saying, like, the overload of information I got, it was ridiculous. Like, I was so tired. Yeah, I don't know. If you do speak another language, and if you learned it not as a child, but as an actively really learned it as an adult, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, crazy experience. Like, again, this is one of a lifetime experience. You only know when you've done it. You just know when you know, and it was insane and sometimes so frustrating because it comes in waves. So I'm now also learning my third language. I'm learning Spanish, and it's so interesting. It's so cool to see that way more relaxed with the entire thing because I just know the process. I know what it was like, and I don't stress out anymore. I don't stress out about like little mistakes and errors I do. I notice them. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, that, and then I repeat it, and that's it. But back then I was like, really, I felt so embarrassed and nervous. I'm like, oh shit, they must believe I'm stupid. And so I would rather say nothing. And instead of saying it and saying it wrong, which is the worst you can do, because you need to speak, you need to practice if you want to learn. And yeah, again, like, if you wait until you can only improve if you speak. But then again, if you don't speak because you're afraid or scared you say something wrong, that is, obviously that's a bit counterproductive. But it's a process, it's a learning curve. And I've realized just this entire thing is like, it comes in waves. So you have a wave where all the information comes in and is stored, and then this information needs to be processed. And during that processing time, I really can't get any more in. So this is what my head can handle, and then it gets processed, and in that period I usually feel like, oh, I'm standing still, I'm never gonna learn it. Like, everyone else speaks it so well, and I'm just not. So I was like, very frustrated. And then suddenly it's like, boom, it's processed, and then you feel like it's this wave of new knowledge, new words, new, like, suddenly you understand it. It clicked. And it's like, oh wow. And then again, this entire process repeats. Then you speak more because you can speak more, you can communicate better. People are happy to speak to you because you can now respond properly and stuff. And then you get more and more information in again. It gets processed. It feels like, oh, I'm stuck, I'm not learning more right now. And then once it's like all processed and like really clicked, boom, more knowledge available. So that's a very, very cool just experience to go through. And now I'm not so stressed out anymore because I know it's coming. Yes, it is annoying because nowadays everyone speaks English no matter where you are. And then right now I'm in a little village in Spain. And I thought, hey, like, here I'm, totally going to speak Spanish all day. No, forget it. Like, people are so happy if you speak Spanish, if you speak English, to them and with them practice because they want to learn English, I'm like, no, but I want to learn Spanish. I'm like, nah. So yeah, that's a bit annoying sometimes, frustrating. And then I get frustrated and annoyed. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it? So yeah, the best you can do is literally be alone. Don't have anyone with you, friend, partner, whatnot, who speaks your mother language, because you obviously will speak your mother language. That's just what it is. If two mother tongue people are together, they will speak that language unless someone else is in the room, and that's what we do usually. Then we swap to the other language. But otherwise, if you are with a German and you speak German, you speak German. Like, why would I speak English to my mother? Makes no sense. So yeah, that's that. And if you right now, it's the two of us, it's my partner and I, and we speak German with each other. And yeah, if I'm speaking English with everyone else, or even I speak Spanish, and then sometimes they respond in English, and I'm like, what are we doing here? So it can be a little bit frustrating, and it's just, I know that if I was able to speak every day on a daily basis for hours, or like at least get my solid 3 hours in, 4 hours just being out there, I know I would speak perfectly already, but it's just what it is. And we just joked about it recently. I said, you know what, I'm probably going to learn Spanish somewhere in Asia or like stuff like that, because, we meet people there and we travel together, and then, I probably end up speaking Spanish there. So let's see if that happens. I really do hope it happens. Yeah, other than that, get yourself a boyfriend. Really, that's what helps. Like a partner that speaks a language, or live with other people that speak the language. Yeah, just you need to have this language around you 24/7, and then it's just like boom, it comes in. It's painful in the beginning, but then afterwards no one can take that knowledge away from you, even if it's rusty after some time. Like, I haven't been in an English speaking country. I lived there for almost 7 years now, but still, I'm still speaking. I practice a lot whenever I can, but it used to be better, my English, but now I'm just going to pick it up again and practice more with this podcast as well. I'm also going to do German episodes if you want to hear me talk in my German, my mother language. So yeah, what I want to share actually, like in general, so you get an idea what you are in for. So I just really want to share these kind of experiences of, especially for me being in Germany, everyone told me that's not possible. You cannot do that. And how do you know? Like, retirement is like you're 18 and you already get the retirement speech, and then that never stops, and shit like that, And yeah, again, if you grow up like that, and if you believe this system, again, like I looked at it and I did not believe it, and I was like, no, what are you talking about? That makes what you are saying makes no sense. Yes, it made sense maybe 80 years ago. Right now it makes no sense anymore, and I doubt it's going to make sense in 20 years. And that's exactly what happened. So I just did it anyway, but I know how hard it is to go against your family, to go against your friends, to then also doubt yourself. Like, if you hear that every day on a daily basis, you cannot do that, and why do you think you are better than this, and and blah blah blah, shit like that. And I don't know, it's so sad that so many people I meet, not just German people, just like everyone I meet when I travel from all over, and so many of them, they come to me, we talk about where we've been, what we are doing, where we are going, and then they look at me like, oh wow, like I have this hobby of mine, I do XYZ, and when I'm retired, I would love to do that. And I'm like, no, please don't wait until you're retired. Like, we don't even know if we get there. Please share your skills now. If that makes you happy, share it now. And you will find other people who love what you're doing. If you love it, everyone else who loves it too will be drawn to you, and you will find your crowd. And yes, it is, yes, founding your own company. The founding process is more or less just, having a list and ticking the boxes, really. That is just a little bit of homework, a little bit of organization, and a little bit of playing by the rules. Whatever country you are with, they might have a different rule set, but that's really just ticking the boxes. So that is just, you read through it, you get organized, and you just get it done. That's simple. But then also you might have other issues like, finding your crowd, finding your community, finding the clients or customers that are ideal for you and that need and want exactly what you are offering. So that is a complete different story. Or also like just having a website and, what do you do with it? Like, how do you know that you cannot do everything yourself? That's also what I'm going to talk about, because I've done services and products, and I've like located to 4 different countries or what, on 2 different continents. And yeah, it's interesting, very interesting. I'm going to share a lot of my stories, what it's like and how I solved certain situations. But yeah, it's just keep in mind, if you do decide, and I really hope you do, want to make your dream come true and live your dream life every day, it's not going to be just this beautiful fairy tale easy sail, no, it comes with a lot of challenges, obstacles, and sometimes a lot of tears, and just sadness, when you run against closed doors. Oh my gosh, I've done that so many times. But what I can tell you, just walk around and go through the window, or maybe just come back at some later time And then the door is probably open already. You are invited in, and stuff like that. But I totally know what it's like. I also know how hard it is to find a price tag for your service and products. It's so hard because honestly, I talk a lot about that with my colleagues who also founded companies. And yeah, we are all of them. All of them are also like, no, we totally, everyone does. So not just we did, but also every client they know, they totally price themselves under value. So how sad is that? And then again, like that is what I really had to learn as well. If you don't get a fair price for what you offer, how are you supposed to get to, where you are supposed to be? Like, how are you supposed to sustain yourself? You cannot. And that's a problem. So we need people like you. We need people that are honest, that have honest and real products and services, and that are out to help the community and not just themselves. So these people are like, this is the person we need these days. So if this person can't make it there because they are not getting paid enough money, so, they cannot sustain their business or their family for that matter, and they have to close down, that is not helping anyone. Because trust me, you want to have a person you can trust, and you want to make sure that in a few years time down the line, that person is still there offering their services, and probably even better services, because this person also stepped up the game and maybe even could expand and has a team now. So if you even if you don't want to have a business, if you do know these businesses, please support them. And even if it is just with like a 5-star review, or if it's just a nice feedback email like, hey, I really appreciate your services. Trust me, those usually come at the perfect timing. And the perfect timing is usually when the business owner, I myself was there so many times, I was about to quit. And I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Like, if no one appreciates what I'm doing here, and if everyone is just complaining, and it's like my business, the lifestyle I have created around that brand, Green Planet. So Green Planet Cosmetics is my brand I founded. And it's really out to serve you as a customer. And this is the main priority. So, I am so honest and so transparent about this, which is also a problem. I'm going to talk about that in one of the following episodes as well, because people can't handle this type of information. That is a problem, you guys. But yeah, we'll get into that as well. But, I'm really trying to be the person that I would want it to have, and that I needed when I was a teenager, let's say, and I was completely lost and didn't know what to put onto my skin and how to be, just like how to treat my body in a nice and gentle way. And the shit we are literally eating and rubbing onto ourselves and doing with ourselves, it's ridiculous. It's so unhealthy. And I'm sorry, but we don't need to wonder where all these, allergies and ailments and conditions come from. Like, really, no, we don't have to. Like, the way we are behaving, the way we are living on a day-to-day basis is so unhealthy. And it's all connected. So that's also very important for me to point that out, to really give my clients the knowledge. I'm not selling a magical pill here, and it's not going to do anything overnight. Hey, everything is connected. So it's a body, mind, and soul. And if you worry so much, there is only so much that a product can do to your body, to your skin. If your soul is suffering because you are just so sad and so unhappy because you cannot just be yourself and fulfill your dreams, you always have to put yourself in that box. That is frustrating, and that makes you sick at some point. And as long as that is not solved, skincare and all the fancy pills in the world and all the food and all the magic drinks in the world are not going to do shit, because it's just a symptom, and you need to cure the source of whatever it is you're struggling with. And maybe it is this, hey, why not even start a new business, but go elsewhere where your services are maybe appreciated. And maybe you come home happy, thinking, hey, I could actually help someone today. And I had so much fun with my team that I just, I even stayed an hour longer and I didn't realize it, because it was so much fun. My jobs are always like that because I couldn't do it any other way. So if I don't enjoy what I'm doing, and if I would not do my job for free, that's the time when I find a new job. So that's a very good guideline for you as well. Ask yourself, A, like if would you go to your job and do it every day if you were not getting paid? If the answer is no, find something else to do. Another one I really like is, if you had all the time and money in the world, would you still be doing what you are doing right now? If the answer is no, find something else to do. It's time to change it up. Yeah, big time. So, you know what, even for these jobs I told you, it took a while until I actually made some money. But all these jobs leading up there, I was barely paid. In most cases, I wasn't paid at all because I was an apprentice. And yeah, honestly, like my very first great job love was in the film industry. So I was in the costume department. That's where I wanted to be. And yeah, what it is in the film industry, you know, it doesn't matter where you studied, what you did, who your parents are, you know, you start small. That's why I love it. I love it. And it totally separates the winners from the, you know, people who are just in to make a quick buck or to just, I don't know, whatever. I don't care, you know. But the people that are on set with you, like on film sets, they are the best of the best. And working with these people, the best out there, it's just incredible. And then you create this amazing film together, you know. It's just insane. Yeah, a lot of fun. I loved it so much. And when I started, honestly, we did, again, 15 to 18 hours was usual. I had the second job I did was, the longest was 20 hours, and I was not getting paid at that moment. So then once that film, the project was over, the producer actually came to me and said, like, you know, I'm totally gonna pay you. You've done such an incredible job. You know, we were like every film has a few interns always, and we were the guys that, you know, that started out. So a lot of departments had one, and they were like going around and collecting money for the interns to give us, and it's so sweet, you know. And I was like, oh, I love it. And I also felt so like appreciated, you know, like I'm so happy and willing to give it all every day because I love it. It's amazing, you know. I wouldn't want to do anything else. Like I always said, like, you guys, honestly, like, if you want to get rid of me, you know, they could have said like, here's money, just leave, and I would be like, nah, you keep the money and I come back tomorrow. Like, they would not get rid of me. And even when we had like winter breaks, so like the first year, you know, and they told me like, okay, cool, what are we doing next? Because usually once you're in, and when you're good, people recommend you. So that's what I mean. Like at some point, I didn't have to ask around anymore. People would come ask me if I'm available. So I was like asking like, hey, when are you doing the next project? I want to do the next one. And the guy goes like, it was like from production. It's like, hey, what do you mean? No, it's winter break. And I'm like, hey, what do you mean winter break? I'm like, yeah, no, it's no filming and for the next 2 or 3 months. And I looked at him and I was like, no. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, no. I was really almost crying. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, no, but what am I doing until then? I don't want to go back and do like a stupid job. I want to do this one. Oh, well, but I was studying at the same time as well, like from a distance school. So I guess I just used that time to, you know, do all the homework I had to do and do all the papers I had to finish. And then also, you know, in between, we went back to, I lived in Berlin, and then I just found a job on the Christmas market. You know, they always need people. So that's where I got some extra money, some pocket money. And again, that's how you just kind of, you know, hustling and getting by. And yeah, until the next job starts again.